As a part of their Neom project, Saudi Arabia has envisioned 170-kilometer-long twin skyscrapers with a larger area per square meter than countries like Albania or Israel. It promises a new way of life like never seen before. But with almost 2 years since it first began construction, many people are skeptical. In fact, high-profile media outlets have written pretty scathing reports about its progress and revealed some secrets about this project that Saudi Arabia probably didn't want you to know about. So, could this monumental project be a success, or could it be a monumental failure? As you may already know, Neom stands for New Future, which is a component of Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, a calculated move to lessen its reliance on oil and diversify the country's economy. At the center of this vision is the Line. The Line, a 170-kilometer linear city, is supposed to have room for 9 million inhabitants. Imagine the City of London, but everyone living in the same twin building moving in a straight line. Now picture a city of this size devoid of streets, automobiles, or carbon emissions. It has been proposed as a vertical metropolis where residents live, work, and play in linked modules that are all outfitted with cutting-edge green energy solutions and technology. The concept is revolutionary, but do the impressive videos match the reality of what's happening on the ground? By February 2024, Neom showcased stunning progress. Aerial footage revealed breathtaking views of the world's biggest earthworks excavation. Around 260 excavators and 2,000 trucks are working 24/7 on the construction site, moving over 2 million cubic meters of earth per week. However, that same month, it was also revealed in the Wall Street Journal that Saudi Arabia was borrowing money to finance Neom. Why was Saudi Arabia, a country with supposedly limitless wealth, asking for loans? 2 months later, the financial news site Bloomberg did some further digging. They released a pretty damning report, and the future success of this project was severely called into question. For more investigations into the biggest mega project shaping the world, make sure to subscribe. Now, let's see what that report had to say. Bloomberg revealed that less than 2 years into its construction, the line has been heavily scaled back. It was the first of many uncomfortable truths about the line revealed this year. According to the report, by 2030, the government at one point hoped to have 1.5 million residents living in the line, a sprawling futuristic city it plans to contain within a pair of mirror-clad skyscrapers. Now, officials expect the development will house fewer than 300,000 residents by that time. So, the first phase was to originally have a city with the population size of Barcelona, but it is now the scale of a much larger city like Bilbao. This will also be 1.5 miles long instead of the originally planned 10 miles or more. Bloomberg was not completely critical of Neom. As part of this project, Saudi Arabia are building a tourist island by the Red Sea known as Sindala, which is coming along pretty well and is scheduled to open in 2024. Another successful aspect of the Neom project has been the $8 billion initiative to build solar and wind farms that will be used to create green hydrogen. Solar and wind power are limited by the fact that the sun is not always shining and the wind is not always blowing. So solar panels and wind turbines can create an excess of power which can be stored into hydrogen. However, Bloomberg's revelation that the line was being scaled back wasn't the only damning information. In fact, it goes much deeper than that. And 3 weeks later, Bloomberg had even more unsettling details to reveal. In Bloomberg's second report, they basically investigated why the line was being scaled back. And the simple reason behind this is money. Despite Saudi Arabia's vast fortune, it looks as if its spiraling costs are becoming a problem. The line was first estimated to cost $500 billion, but has skyrocketed to a staggering $1.5 trillion. And the longer this takes, the more expensive it will get each year. To finance this project, Saudi Arabia needs foreign investors, but they are not receiving the volume of investment that they were hoping for. This suggests that people outside of Saudi Arabia have either shown not much interest in the project, or even worse, they think that the line is far too risky of an investment. However, according to Andreas Krieg, a Gulf specialist at the Institute of Middle Eastern Studies at King's College London, there have been some, but not a lot of foreign investment. There's been some Chinese investments, but they are nowhere near where they need to be. There's always going to be a shortfall of foreign investment in Saudi to pay for all of these projects. The Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia holds $925 billion in assets this year. However, Bloomberg reports that its current cash holdings, or the money they have to spend every year, is $15 billion. Interestingly, this hasn't been that low since Saudi Arabia started disclosing its holdings in 2020. But this is not where the controversy ends. In fact, it gets much worse. The most damaging reason for this lack of foreign investment is that there is a much darker side to the line, and rather than being a beacon of humanity, you can argue that Saudi Arabia and the line are doing the exact opposite. A report from the BBC in May lifted the veil on what was really happening behind the line. In May 2024, a former Saudi intelligence officer, Colonel Rabi Al-Anezi, spoke to the BBC and provided some chilling information on how land is being cleared for construction. He said that he was ordered to evict villagers from a tribe in order to make way for the building of the line, and according to this source, one member of this tribe was shot and killed. Colonel Al-Anezi said that whoever continues to resist eviction should be killed, so it licensed the use of lethal force against whoever stayed in their home. Neom is the centerpiece of Mohammed bin Salman's ideas. That's why he was so brutal in dealing with the Huwaitat. Abdul Rahim al-Huwari is an individual who Al-Anezi claims was murdered for protesting the construction of the line. However, the Saudi Arabian government claims that he opened fire on them. Whatever way you put it, it only generated more negative publicity for the line. And this negative publicity is impacting the line's construction. Malcolm Ah, the CEO of the British company Solar Water plc, was previously involved with the line, but pulled out in 2022 because of the suffering experienced by tribes living in the area. He said, "It might be good for some high-tech people living in that area, but what about the rest? You should seek that advice to improve, to create, recreate, without removing them." In 2020, an executive for Neom's ski project named Andy Worth also left on these grounds. He said, "It just reeked of something terrible that had been exacted upon these people. You don't step on their throats with your boot heels so you can advance." And this is part of why they are struggling to find foreign investors. Very few people want to be associated with this project or the Saudi Arabian government. This means that financing the entire project, unless something changes, will be incredibly difficult. Despite all of the doom and gloom, Neom's YouTube channel released some surprising footage of progress that has been made. On May 22nd, Neom released another video update on what was happening and provided some interesting facts and figures of how things are going. The first revelation is that there are 140,000 construction workers on site. To attract foreign investment, Neom has opened offices in London and New York. The video also mentioned cell-cultured seafood, autonomous cars, electric sea gliders, and self-service gates at Neom Bay Airport. The video also announced that their sustainable food sector company, Topian, is now live and wind turbines have arrived at the port of Neom, which are ready to use on the line. And also in May, the Saudi Economy Minister, Faisal Al-Ibrahim, spoke to CNBC and said that the line was not being scaled down, but is a long-term project that will grow in the future. At the moment, they are merely working to satisfy demand. He said, "There is no change in scale. It is a long-term project that's modular in design. These projects will be delivered to their scale and in a manner that, in terms of priorities, suits the needs of the projects, the returns of these projects, and the economic impact. It's like minimizing any leakage, minimizing any overheating risks as well." Crucially, he said that they are seeing an increased interest from international investors, which may solve the financial issues currently facing the project. And despite the supposed setbacks, the ambition behind this project remains incredibly high. He said, "We set out to do something unprecedented, and we're doing something unprecedented. And we will deliver something that's unprecedented." So while the line makes an impressive story and project, the actual reality of the project is a lot more complicated. But instead of being a monumental success or a monumental failure, perhaps there is a middle ground. Perhaps the line isn't going to be as big as envisioned, but it still provides a new way of living. Then, if it becomes more popular, they will continue to build along the line. And this is something that even one of its own architects have said. Peter Cook, an architect on the project, even said, "It's an interesting possibility. You know, I think they'll get a bit of it done." But what do you think? Now that Neom is well into its first construction phase, are you convinced that it will become a reality? Let us know in the comments section below. We will be watching this project closely, so make sure to subscribe to the channel for further updates. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.